I won't smell. I'll just pretend I'm cleaning, which is what I'm doing. I'm pretending. I mean, you've had to be clean in a while.
So we've never done this before.
Probably not.
Meaning we've never washed.
Well, we've washed them.
Here.
We washed them over there, yeah.
Yeah, this is the first time with this new sink.
Now I'm going to go over and get a towel.
And when was this put in? Like when was this finalized? Because I know
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
It is not completely finished. It is,
Right, like.
you know, it's 95% functional.
Mm-hmm.
What's left is disappointment.
What do you like about it specifically?
Very efficient. It has everything in it that sacristy needs. And all the things that are not needed in the sacristy, such as books and things of that, are out behind the tabernacle in a brand new type of shelving. Looks very nice. It's hidden from normal view, but all the books we need for rituals are where they should be, near the altar where we use them. And we are now, for the first time, able to clean our sacred vessels, as we call them, right here. Normally, we'd have to drag them to and from the rectory.
How often do you clean the sacred vessels?
Well, they're generally cleaned at least, especially in this time, at least once a week. Under normal circumstances now, we would have, for instance, this is what we call the visitor's cells. And of course, our helping priest, our beloved native son, Monsignor Joseph Kelly, uses this particular. So he's the only one to be using it since we no longer have any help but himself. So this has pretty much become Monsignor's, at least while he's here with us. So now that's clean.
And that one's yours, right?
This is one of the ones I use. This is the one that was given to me when I was ordained by my parents. I use this at a certain time of the year. I use it at Lent and Advent. And then I have other chalices that was given to me by family and so forth. So a personal chalice probably should be cleaned at least once a week. But when you have to keep dragging it back and forth, it gets kind of difficult. So, and of course, the trick to cleaning sacred vessels is you never submerge them, because most of them have what's called a node, so that we can have a gold inlaid or silver inlaid, etc. See the node? And that would, for instance, if you have this reframed or what have you, this is rather interesting. This is sterling silver. At Easter time, I use a gold colored chalice that was given to me by family and friends. And at Christmas time, I used the one that Father Healy left to me, which was his own chalice, which of course, as I told the prisoners, will eventually, when I leave, it will be left here because I'm not taking it with me. I think it should be left for posterity's sake.
Are you going to leave any?
Yes, I will. I'll leave half my chalices here and half of the other parish that I was in. For old St. James and St. Juliana.
Are you going to send them back there?
Well, I won't, because I won't be here.
And what's nice is you dry them and they go right back up in.
Correct. Yes, so most chalices are used by one priest only. When you have a visiting priest come or extra help, then you have to have provision to clean them. That's why it was so bulky here before, because we'd have to keep taking them over and trying to clean them and so forth and so on. Like anything else, it's good to clean them. But you have to be careful.
They scratch easily?
Not necessarily. It depends on what they're made of them. Many people think they're highly worth a great. Some are worth a great deal, and some are not. It's you know, you can make it with silver and gold and basic elements of the earth.
Did you have a preference? You know, like you like gold over, or it doesn't matter, like pewter or silver? Like, do you have a personal preference?
Not really.
No.
Basically, I chose this one when I was ordained because by my nature, as you can tell, I'm not a very large man. I don't like big ones. But, like that's the way I buy my cars. I like them when they were small. Then as I got a little older, I bought larger ones. So, who knows? It's all preference. However, we have to be careful with them because they are sacred vessels. They've had the precious body and blood of Jesus Christ in them, and so therefore We have to be careful with it. So this is a joy to be able to do this right here. And we have a number of our people, like our sacristan and others, are standing up and down cheering because they don't have to be trying to get water for plants and everybody else. This is wonderful.
And there's new, I'm just going to show the parishioners, there's a new hardwood floor in here.
Very much so, yes.
And before it was the same rug that was outside, or it was like a blue rug.
Something like that, I don't even remember now, it's been a while.
And this is the same chair that actually survived, right?
Correct, yes.
I think, I remember that it fell on top of it, but it looked like there was no scratches or anything.
Somehow they managed to
It made
survive.
And then, of course, what's the significance of that rug?
Burgundy is one of my favorite colors, and if you look at the bevel, there's a bit of red in all this, and it sort of wakes the place up.
Do you know what year the original sacristy cabinets were made of?
Probably somewhere around 1905, 1906.
It's a shame that they were destroyed.
Some would say that. Others would say, well, maybe not.
Yeah. Some are like, well, you know.
You have to move on sometimes.
Yep. There's quite a bit of cabinetry in here. And then this is vestments in here.
Very easily. So here are the vestments of the church, which for the first time in my 16 years here, we now have them all in our church rather than half over in the rectory and half here. And then we're dragging them. I had this wonderful experience. Every time I would bring either one of my own personal ones over or the ones we did at extra times during different liturgical seasons, there would always do some kind of precipitation. My luck.
Of course.
And
And so whose are those?
Those belong to the parish.
Okay.
They don't belong to any priest or deacon. They are the parish.
So who would use them? Like Monsignor Kelly?
All of us, any priest. For instance, these vestments are regular white vestments with the Celtic cross.
Mm-hmm.
Christ the King, there's another one, white vestments, another white vestment given to us. Beautiful Marian vestments. So if there's a Marian feast, and naturally if you're named after Queen of Peace, then you have a wedding one, has the symbols of wedding on it and so forth. These we use at Christmas time. This is called the Messianic crown. Okay, some people use it for funerals. I don't care for funerals. We use it around Christmas. This, of course, is the visiting priest's vestments for Easter time, and the dalmatic for their deacons. And these are one of our funeral vestments.
Mm-hmm.
And this, of course, is a dalmatic for the deacon. And then, of course, this one is a very special one. This is one we use for First Communion. And actually, it's the children of the world.
Mm.
Okay, over here we have purple vestments. These are very suited towards Advent. These are more suited towards Lent. And, of course, red used for the Holy Spirit, confirmation, and martyrs. And this one is especially useful. We especially say this one, this is quite brand new. It's used for confirmations only. Or unless I change my mind. I might use it for Good Friday, but we'll wait and see. Over here, a few of the others. This is a vestment for the diocese, but it's an extra one. And we use it with one of our funeral poles. We have two funeral poles. These, of course, are the green vestments that are used during the ordinary season. Now, the rest of this will be used by our deacon Matthew Laurent. He'll put his vestments in here. And then over here we have various and sundry things. Additional, for instance, this one here is a very special chalice that we found some years ago, hidden away. So I often use that maybe Easter Sunday morning or Christmas time. We might use it once.
That was Father Healy's, or you don't know?
We don't know who it didn't seem to belong to anyone in particular. It was given in memory of someone, but not seemingly for a priest. I can't be sure.
Yeah.
And
we don't know the year either.
Not particularly. Over here we have certain things we need: reserve signs, fixes for those who are helping us carry communion, etc. Our regular Eucharist preparation and so forth. For those who like a traveling microphone. And Senior likes that.
I've never seen you wear that.
No, I'm not prone to that. I do enough hopping up and down in the pulpit as it is.
Monsignor likes that, and he likes to walk
Some
around.
people like to do that, yes. And then over here is where we normally place, as you'll see in a minute, we place the chalices of the priest, okay? Mine is always on the left. because I change them as we go along.
Okay.
The next one to come will be a gold one, it's going to be my family. And that will be used basically from Holy Thursday on through the Lenten, through the Easter season. And then when that's done, it'll be replaced by one that's got a gold inlay, but it's red. And then finally, when we get through the ordinary season with the red one, we're in Advent again. I'll use the one about halfway through Advent. I use this. Well, through Advent I use this, and then when I get to the end of Advent, I use the one that Father Healy left to us. Well, he left it to me, but to me it was left to the parish, just as I will leave half of mine here. So, okay, and then we just put these back in. And that's that. There's an extra one there today. That was given to us. That's a nice of Columbus. Beautiful chalices they give us. Once again, they vary in terms of worth. Some are not worth a great deal, others are. The point is, their worth is not in the material, it's in the fact that they hold the body and blood of Christ.
Which makes them all valuable.
Right, absolutely. And quite fortunately, unless you take care of them and have them replated and so forth, they'd be like anything else on this side of Heaven's Gate, they deteriorate. Over here are some additional things, Saboya that we use. And of course, we're still very much work. Some of these cabinets, shelves are going to have to be moved in a different way, a different configuration. And then the men that are doing that work have left notes for them. And when things go back to some semblance of normalcy, we'll get that done. Over there is one of our monstrances. This is the one we use, especially if you're marching around the church. We have another one that's beautiful. We'll show you in a minute. The difficulty is it's very heavy to carry. And in my 71 years of age, I really don't need that. So we carry that one around, which of course this year we won't be doing because of our restrictions and so forth, which are obvious and common sense. There again is another example of where shelving has to be changed a little bit. Mm-hmm. Over here, another one of our deacons will be able to put his material, some of it's already in. Okay?
Is this Deacon John's?
This is Deacon John's. Eventually, all these things will be inscribed. Right now, we have little maps of where things are.
This is like the little cheat sheet?
A little cheat sheet, yes.
Oh, it's very nice.
And it's just, it'll be a while before we, for instance, our clock. I think I'm going to put the clock over the sink, but who knows, right now we have it there. I really don't want it on the wall. Little things, I need a doorstop over there because...
Mirror?
A mirror of some, probably not there, probably elsewhere. Mm-hmm. It was there before, but there are other places. But over here are what we call small sacred linens. These are used by the priests, deacons, and so forth. Washing of fingers. These are used by Eucharistic ministers when they clean their fingers off of the precious body of Christ after giving out communion. Mm-hmm. These are some larger corpus, as they're called. They're often found in front of the tabernacles of in fact, they have to be in front of our tabernacles all over the world, and so forth.
Are they always a red cross, by the way?
Generally, yes. Mm-hmm.
They never change colors, so as it's not seasonal.
No, it's not seasonal. The color can be anything.
Okay.
In fact, they don't even have to be. A lot of the things that you see are additions. Mm-hmm. They're nice, but they're really not defined doctrine. And we get carried away. It's just like some people. We all have personal spirituality, and that's good. But sometimes we get carried away and we teach it as doctrine, which is not fair. So whenever you're giving some kind of spiritual opinion, especially priests, theologians, they have to tell you that's what they're doing. We all should be doing that.
Right.
It's my opinion, that's what my opinion is. Mm-hmm. Albeit educated or not, it's just an opinion. And so, as long as it's good and not hurting anybody, okay? And over here we have some more of these sacred linens that are used for different purposes. This, for instance, we drape when we have adoration of the sacrament of the Lord Jesus, or when we have devotions to our Blessed Lady for her intercession, like on first Saturdays and so forth. We use this.
How about the funerals?
Our funerals, these are used for when we have cremains.
Right.
And so forth. Now we're just getting functional. There's baptismal material. Mm-hmm. And the holy oils that we would use. Somehow they came open there. We'll close them.
And those hold the oils?
Those are the oils of catechumenate, meaning convert, used at baptism, and then of course oil of chrism, which is used at various baptism, confirmation, so forth, holy orders. And then down here, just towels. What's nice is we used to have all kinds of books and materials in here. that's not really what should be here. We should have what we really need for the altar. And so therefore, all the books, ritual books, prayers and devotions are behind the tabernacle. There's a nice new shelf, as I mentioned before. They're organized, people can find it, and we don't have immense tons. And when I first came here, I found things I believe both Adam and Eve have left behind. I'm not sure, but it just takes forever to get them. People, I'm not into being a pack rat or a hoarder. I do know you have to save some things, but we have to go kind of slowly with it. Over here, there's more shelving. Once again, some of it will be done here are candles that we use for adoration of the Blessed Sacrament. Okay, and other tapers that we use at varying times. Under here, this is a work in art. This is the sacred laundry that has to be done. I have to get something to hang this from. Over here are baptismal candles, and those are given as a symbol of the Paschal candle at baptism.
I could see that.
Up here are some other different colored cloths that are often used at different liturgical seasons. The colors are there, they have different purposes. And once again, all these shelves are going to be changed. They went through, but with the work stoppage and so forth going on, it's no longer possible to do that. All in time. Like I said, we're about 90 to 95% functional, which is important because all during the time we did not have this to service us, everything I needed by the altar was way back by the front door. And that, of course, made everything I got my exercise, so I can't complain, I guess.
Now this is new. This framework.
All these frameworks are brand new. They were never anything like this. The work is very nice. All three windows here. And of course, if you look in here, this is our statue of Mary that's used frequently for May crowning. It's used for our monthly first Saturday adoration and prayer to Jesus through Mary and so forth. And of course, we have a window here. Actually, we have beautiful stained glass windows that we have just done several years ago. But because of the damage here, we wisely, with the advice of the men who were doing the work, removed these things. The experts who put them in removed them, and they're storing them, and they'll come back. So there are other things we have to get done. But
so this would be a stained glass again.
This will be a stained glass here. Now it has a proper windowing protection, okay, and so forth. It had it before, but now it's even better. But this is wonderful work here. It's just beautiful work. Okay, as is who are designing this and so forth, the shelving is within mind. So in many ways, when something negative happens, much good comes out of it,
Yes. All right, so what's on this side?
On this side, well, here's our water jar. Water for, various needs of water. Over here, we just store some of our, at this point again, shelving that has to be changed. And so forth. Here we put our empty glass candles and so forth. Over here are the ones that are prepared to be used. Over here we have all of the information, things that we need for incense, for various, including funeral, etc. Then over here, in this shelving, we have, again, shelving that has to be changed, but this is a beautiful, wonderful, beautiful donated monstrance. It's gorgeous, and so, but it is extremely heavy. So we use it to, as I say, manifest the Lord in this proper station in front of the tabernacle. And so that's how we use it. We have stored here, nice storage area. These beautiful crucifix that's used specifically at Good Friday, okay? And these are, of course, two.
So that's when you say venerate the cross?
Correct. That's how we end. This is the one that we use.
What does it mean to venerate a cross?
There are various ways to venerate a cross. You can touch it. Some people like to kiss it. And most likely it went back in the 4th century. Many of the things that we see us doing now in the year 2020 took a long time to develop after the coming of Jesus and so forth. They're what we call in Latin sensus plenior, a full of revelation. Much of it is wonderful spirituality, but again, it's fine as long as it gets you to the basic truth. If it veers us away, then we get in trouble. So for instance, you have to venerate the cross by kissing it. No, you can look at it, you can genuflect to it, pray to it. And of course, the point is it's a sacred object because it had Christ's body and soul and divinity, and that's what makes it sacred. And so we venerate those aspects of life.
Can people venerate the cross at home during this Easter season?
Absolutely, any time of the year, but even more so during Easter.
But they don't have to have light candles, they don't have to kiss it?
Not really, they don't have to do that. If they would like to, it's a way of heightening our attention. If it's going to help you do that, by all means do it. Is it necessary? I don't think so really at all. I don't want people to, pardon the expression, freak out over that. I mean, If you have it, if you have a candle, that's fine. If you don't, that's all right too, They didn't have all that when the Lord was being crucified and so forth. So simplicity is the true elegance of life.
It could be a cross around your neck, right?
Precisely.
Okay.
And these are some more vestments that we use for benediction, adoration. These are what we call curtains that we use in the back of our large crucifix. They reflect the season of the year. Green for ordinary, symbol of hope. White for moments like Easter, Christmas, moments of purity. But it's the dominant season, so we pray for that. We really don't have a red season. That's basically for confirmation, Pentecost.
Good Friday?
Good Friday, of course. Yes.
Does it go up on Good Friday?
No, it does not.
Okay.
Because it's not a dominant season. Good Friday, everything is stripped. It's barren.
Yes.
When you come in, when the TV camera comes in, as you remember coming into church, what happens is it's just totally barren, the way it's supposed to look. So the purple will be coming down.
There's no Mass on Good Friday?
No, it's not a Mass. It's called the Liturgy of Good Friday. It's a liturgy because it's an organized set of ritual actions. Okay? All right? So that's what's there. And again, there's shelving up there. More things can be stored. But my purpose in redesigning this was to get in here what we really need and to put out there what we really need there rather than here. And I think we've accomplished that. Finally, for all of our servers, young ladies and men, and some of the older people that serve us as well.
And the
These are our
cinctures
bells.
are there.
Yeah, the cinctures are there.
Cinctures.
Again, the color of the season, liturgical season, the color of the Mass.
And the crosses.
And the crosses.
See if I can just jump.
And again, we're going to have something put in here when the men come back that will allow, because I think the children are going to have a hard time dealing with that, as it is. But
Tell us a little bit about what changed here. Anybody who's been back here knew there was kind of like a power strip
there
here,
are two power boxes sitting here.
right?
Went from about here all the way down here. They're all gone, and that's why we have to keep pushing these things to put lights on. And that might be all right in a church where you're only going to be there once or twice a week. But in a church where you're constantly in motion, and we're quite active parish here, your prayer groups be here when the regular season, normalcy, they meet 3-4 times a week. We have people that meet on Sunday night, so forth and so on. Flame of Love, we have all kinds of various devotions, and that's fine, and so forth. We also have on Saturday when we don't have a Mass, because there's already several Masses for the priest to say, we have communion with the Liturgy of the Word, and one of our deacons, Deacon John, generally takes care of that. Well, anyway, when you would walk in here, you'd have all this maze, and that has been removed, and it's just that simple. Here's Mass. That's the dome, the latter part of the church towards the front door. This is the dome up towards the front in the middle. That's the crucifix,
Which is on.
which is on now. And then we have what are called uplights, which are the upper chandeliers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And then when we want to turn them, we just push all off. Also, when anybody walks into the church or a sacristy, the lights will automatically turn on, the safety lights. So for instance, at the end of Mass, if somebody is praying during normal time, for instance, daily Mass, or Saturday after the communion service, people are free to come in and out. Okay, we actually have cameras in the rectory that show various parts of the interior of the church, outside area, and so forth, which is relatively helpful. And at any rate, so if someone's praying the rosary or the stations, or they just want to do some personal prayer time, they won't be in the dark. They'll have sufficient light. And with these wonderful stained glass windows, which were renewed probably going back 6-7 years ago, the sun comes in beautifully. In fact, so beautifully, sometimes when I say Mass, right during the consecration in particular, I get smacked in the right hand of my eye. You're trying to, or walking to the pulpit, giving out communion, you're squinting, it looks like a squirrel or something trying to take care of a nut or something, anyway.
And the light only comes on the one side because the rectory is so close on that side.
Correct,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, that's because it's coming off the mountain there.
Right,
The quarry and the cemetery is right above us here.
right. And as they knock the trees down, there's more light.
So when anybody comes in, it's quite explanatory. Before, which lights do we put in? There was a maze of numbers and lights and so
Right.
forth. And basically, nothing was particularly unsafe. But now that power box, or whatever what they call it, precisely, I don't know, you can tell how adept I am in electronics. I'm scared to death of it. But this way, everything is safe, and you really can't make a mistake with it.
It's my understanding too. Kevin, our choir director, was telling me that he can turn them up on his phone And you have a device in the back too that you can push to control the lights. Yeah. So it's all technology-wise. It's all.
Well, as I told the people when this went into effect, we've gone now from 900 BCE to 1999. Now that it's complete,
we're beyond 99.
We should be in 2020.
Yeah, I think so. And then we made a beautiful change here. Oh yeah, I could see the nice framework, the molding. That's new. It matches. Over here too as well.
Too.
Will be a stained glass.
Normally, when we put most of this is just cleaning material that we use in the men with some things they still have to do, minimal things, but nonetheless to be done. This is things that we use. Funny looking accoutrements that are used for funeral preparation, when we need, and so forth and so on. But that's where they stay. And this too has a stained glass window, which will be placed back in soon. Out here.
And many people have seen this, but maybe not the inside of it, right?
Right. This is the new entrance to the sacristy. We did this because the outside entrance was made of a lot of, let's put it mildly, rather inexpensive wood, and it was rotting.
So what kind of wood is this now? This is has a distinct smell. Is it oak?
I don't know.
Oak?
It might be.
Pine?
Could be.
Yeah, it smells really good in here.
It smells good, and it's all been stained properly, and the steps are made of stain. We have a brand. The reason we had this done was twofold. One, the outside that was being used was made of very inexpensive material, and it was rotting. On top of it, animals were coming. Every time I would come to visit to say my daily mass, for instance, or even on the weekend, the daily mass in particular, because there weren't as many people around, I never knew what kind of creature was going to say good morning, Father.
What were they? Raccoons, cats?
We had all kinds of wonderful rodents. We had, the chipmunks had a grand time, chipping down the friends. And so we had to do something about it. And they were burrowing underneath. On top of it, where you are standing on that concrete, we had to go down 4.5 feet to clear out all the problems and put in new concrete. So,
and you have electricity, which you never had before?
Correct.
Yeah. You didn't have a light in here.
No, we didn't.
Right.
We had to put something, we had to kind of construct something. I had a lantern in here, which was better than nothing, but...
Well, I see some cobwebs.
Well, that will happen. A lot of this is coming from the work. There was the young lady that's doing a wonderful job of cleaning now. Has been here twice, but in between time, dust is mounting up and so forth.
Yeah, and plus we're limited to, traffic and who can be where.
Right, and when the men were in, they were dragging stuff in. In fact, that's why the window on the other side was the window through which they took most of their material and supplies.
And then this was always here, right?
These are always here. These are, for instance, this is for any time we would use incense, okay? This is what they call the incense boat. And of course you put the incense in here, which of course we stored over there when we need it. And this is called a censer, okay? And you lift this up, and with the coals go in there and so forth and so on. And I always tell the servers, whether they're young people or adult acolytes, to please, when they go out, put it on the grass and kick it over. Don't touch the bottom because...
Don't I know it?
You'll know. Well, of course, somebody has to try it out. Anyway, over here is a beautiful crucifix that's used for ceremonial purposes. My next plan, when things go back to normalcy, is to get this replated or whatever you call it. We have
polished, repolished, and redone.
Well, whatever you want to call it. We have a gentleman from Syracuse that I like a great deal, Emmy Burgess. We get all of our religious goods that we need from him and so forth, and he's very good at what he does. He's helped us with a number of things.
Yeah, it looks like we have to just polish it. I had to do that a lot with my wedding ring.
Okay, well, he'll let me know what we need. And of course, this is for a wedding, for those who choose the wedding candle, which is an interesting thing if you like it.
I didn't know what that was. Oh, I saw the lights pop on.
They will. Those are the censers. Over here is where all of our books are being stored. Ritual books of all sorts that we need. Also, the different types of prayers that are said by different people, by different groups, they're stored there. Other books and ceremonies are there. Our liquefied wax is down in the bottom.
All those are for the candles?
That's right.
Father, what was this? This used to be the,
We used to have up here,
oh
we
yeah,
used to
right.
have the tabernacle light, which is now over there. And you would have to get this gadget and turn it on and watch this chain go up and down. My difficulty with that is, take a look now at the beautiful symbols in that. The artwork there, you have the key row, the first two letters in Christ's name in Greek. Then you have other Greek letters underneath that, which symbolize God. You have the chalice that symbolizes the precious blood. The wheat that symbolizes, you know, his body. And you also have this watch, the three fingers there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a symbol of the Trinity. Okay, and then you have the crucifix in there, and you have this U coming out. It's like an epiphany that comes out. Now you can see it with that doggone chain in front of it. And a number of persons have recommended they liked it better this way. Also, what makes it easier to keep the tabernacle light lit. These candles that we have here are brand new.
This is new, this new
This
stand.
is a brand new stand, you know, coming from the other one. We are over there. Now these candles, these are brand new for the tabernacle, and we have a set like that coming for our other church, St. Veronica. We're one parish, we just happen to have two worship services, and we have a special aspect. These will be, just like this, will be going right by the tabernacle at St. Veronica, and they've arrived. I'm waiting for the new base. I want a base, because of the size of our sanctuary, I want a base a little bit bigger than what we have. It's fine, but a little bit bigger, so we procured that. That's on its way.
Great. Looking good.
Okay.